Salut tout le monde, j'espère que tout le monde se porte bien. Épisode particulier aujourd'hui, j'ai un immense plaisir de recevoir quelqu'un qu'on affectionne particulièrement, Monsieur Samir, qui va se présenter après. Bon, c'est un épisode particulier parce qu'il ne parle pas français, donc je vais faire la traduction au fur et à mesure. Je vais le laisser se présenter, mais pour vous dire un petit peu les choses, c'est une personne qui est spécialisée dans les financements. Comme on dit en anglais, c'est du mortgage. Donc, c'est l'équivalent du crédit bancaire, que ce soit crédit classique ou crédit islamique, que ce soit pour les résidents ou les non-résidents. Mr. Samir, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting.
Your precious time.
Thanks.
So I was telling the viewers in French, like a brief introduction, and I will let you introduce yourself, briefly to the audience.
Sure, thank you. So I'm the founder and the owner of Mortgage Simplified, which is a company that specializes in mortgages only. Now, we have tie-up with pretty much all the banks, and we work with all sort of profiles. What we try to do is we understand the customer's requirement, we understand the customer's profile, and based on that, give independent advice as what option will work the best for you. It's a purely service-oriented company that focuses on customer's requirement and profile.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Donc, il était en train de nous expliquer. Bon, déjà, you're in Dubai since 2006, right?
2006.
Donc, il est à Dubaï depuis 2006. Donc, il a traversé des crises, etc. Donc, c'était un ancien banquier. Ça, il ne l'a pas dit dans sa réponse, mais je vous le donne et je vous donne l'info également. Which bank you were working for?
Previously, Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank, then United Arab Bank, and then for a consultancy, and then started my own.
Ah, ok. Donc, il a travaillé vraiment pour des grosses banques, notamment Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank. Et maintenant, il est à son compte. Et si vous voulez, en fonction du profil de chacun, des attentes, du budget, etc., il oriente de manière indépendante le client qui souhaite acheter un bien immobilier, il l'oriente vers la meilleure banque et la meilleure offre et le meilleur financement pour lui. All right, so let's start with because as I told you, most of our viewers are in France. I mean, in Europe, but French speaker. Could be from France, Belgium, Switzerland. And let's say I'm a French resident. I don't have Emirates ID yet, and I'm interested in buying a property in the marina.
Okay.
How would you guide me? Before answering, I will just tell the guys the question in French.
Sure.
Je lui ai demandé, on a commencé directement par un cas pratique. Je lui ai dit, si je suis un potentiel acheteur qui est en France, qui n'est pas résident à Dubaï et qui souhaite acheter un appartement déjà construit à la marina et je souhaite faire financer ça, qu'est-ce que je dois faire?
Excellent. So you'd be surprised to know that the answer is it's more easier than for residents, actually. So non-residents can get up to 60% finance from the bank, and we don't look at too much details. What we look at is what is the average balance you maintain in your personal account in your country. So if you're from France, then we will say, give me your 3 months or 6 months of your personal bank statement. And what I need to see is it should have balance of equal to 25,000 dirhams worth of money. So just change it currency into your euros. And then that's the balance which should be there in the last 3 months. If yes, you have an X amount of balance in your account, you qualify for a mortgage. That's all. Don't want to know what your income is. Don't want to know what your liability is. We don't want to know if you have a credit history, good or bad. Purely based on the average balance in your personal account. For example, a customer says, I don't maintain balance in my account. All right. How much does it convert into? 6,500, 6,800, 7,000? Convert it into your euro. Go keep that money in the account for the next 3 months. Come back to me. You get a mortgage.
Wow.
It's as simple as that.
Wow, it's so different than France, actually.
Oh, okay. It's different for residents don't have such an option.
Yeah. Ok, donc je pense que beaucoup d'entre vous vont être surpris par la réponse. Il m'a expliqué qu'il était encore plus facile d'obtenir un financement quand on n'est pas résident. Il suffit simplement de démontrer que entre les 3 et 6 derniers mois, sur son compte personnel, on a une moyenne de 20 000 dirhams, qui est l'équivalent actuel, je dirais, de 4 000. Le taux est amené à changer, mais on est autour de 4 000, 4 100 euros. From 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, 3
roughly.
3 months at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Minimum 3 mois, entre 3 et 6 mois. On ne vous demande pas de fiche de paye, on ne vous demande pas quelle était votre situation financière il y a des années, on ne vous demande pas de garant. There's nothing medical as well involved, because in France, you need a medical test
No.
for a mortgage. for
No,
example.
up to a certain few millions, there is no medical, nothing involved. It will be a group insurance policy. Just fill up a basic questionnaire, done.
Donc pareil, pas de visite médicale, rien de tout ça à fournir. And usually, how long it takes to get the approval? Et je viens de lui poser la question, en moyenne, combien de temps ça prend pour avoir le feu vert ou non de sa demande de financement?
It takes approximately 10 days to get the pre-approval for non-residents because they will do a little more background check about them online, whatever we see online, that's all. But other than that, 10 days, I would say, is the normal turnaround time for getting a pre-approval. After that, there are certain further steps. The overall process takes 4 to 6 weeks to complete the entire mortgage thing.
Okay. Donc le pre-approval, ça prend donc comment on peut dire ça en français? I'm trying to translate pre-approval, I forgot actually. On va dire votre dossier, avant le fait que ce soit accepté complètement. Je suis en mode Jean-Claude Van Damme, là, je cherche mes mots en français. Et il y a d'abord un pré-approval. Je pense que vous allez tous comprendre. Ça prend 10 jours. Et then you told me from how many weeks?
So 10 days to get the approval,
Okay.
4 to 6 weeks to complete the entire process.
De 6 à 8 semaines pour compléter le processus complet et avoir l'argent disponible. Wow, that's very impressive, to be honest. But there is requirement in terms of like property. It cannot be financed on off-plan property, right?
Yes, it has to be a ready property.
Ok, donc je voulais poser la question, quels étaient les critères? Bon, je les connaissais déjà, mais quels étaient les critères pour pouvoir faire une demande de financement? Il faut absolument que la propriété soit terminée. On ne peut pas faire une demande de financement sur un projet sur plan. Okay, and in terms of like financing, I mean the amount itself, you told me it can go up.
60%.
Ça peut aller jusqu'à 60% de la valeur du bien. So for a property of 2 million dirham,
Yeah.
it's...
Yeah.
Sorry, I caught you off guard.
To 1.2 million.
Donc, si vous voyez une propriété qui vous intéresse qui a 2 millions de dirhams, la banque peut vous prêter, encore une fois, entre 6 à 8 semaines jusqu'à 1,2 million de dirhams. We're talking about a stretch of how long? In terms of years?
Yes. So anybody who's applying for a mortgage can apply for up to 25 years. That is till the age of 65.
OK, yeah, makes sense. Donc, on peut aller jusqu'à un financement sur 25 ans, à compter que ça ne dépasse pas les 65 ans. Il ne faut pas avoir plus de 65 ans à arriver. You mean like by the end of the mortgage, you shouldn't be more than 65?
Yeah. So meaning if somebody is, let's say, 55 years old, will only get 10 years. But somebody who's, let's say, only 25 years old or 30 years old, 25 years.
D'accord. Donc, 65 ans, c'est l'âge limite. Donc, si vous avez 55 ans, vous faites une demande de financement, le crédit va être étalé sur 10 ans. Voilà. Wow, that's very interesting, actually. I'm sure a lot of viewers would be very surprised. Another question.
Sure.
What would be the main difference between Islamic mortgage? That one is a big one. The Islamic mortgage and
Okay.
the so-called regular mortgage. Et là, je viens de lui poser la question que je pense que beaucoup de gens se posent. Quelles sont les différences principales entre un crédit immobilier classique et un crédit immobilier via une banque islamique?
Right. So if I were to make it simple, right, and with all due respect,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
as simple as this. It's the same lady we presented it in front of you wearing a hijab, right? The numbers remain the same. The terminology changes. So instead of interest, we will charge you profit. Instead of installments, you'll be paying what is called rent because it's an ijari contract wherein the bank has bought a property on your behalf and you're renting it from the bank. So the numbers remain the same. The process changes slightly. So it's bank bought a property, you're renting, paying rent for 25 years. Once the rent has been paid, we gift the property to you, or you promise to purchase it back for 100 dirhams from us. So that's how the paperwork works. Right?
Okay.
But numbers remain same.
Ok, donc il m'a dit en termes de chiffres, il m'a sorti une blague, je sais pas, en général c'est toujours compliqué de traduire une blague, je sais pas si ça va bien passer. I'm trying to translate the joke. Translating the jokes are always tough, sometimes you get lost in translation.
True.
Il m'a dit c'est la même femme que vous allez avoir devant vous, c'est juste qu'elle porte le hijab. Donc c'est un petit peu ça, selon lui, la différence entre le financement classique et le financement islamique. Donc en termes de remboursement, on va être sur des chiffres similaires. La différence, c'est que la banque va acheter la propriété et va faire un contrat de location entre l'acheteur et la banque en question, jusqu'à un terme, jusqu'à arriver donc au paiement total, et ensuite elle vous transfère la propriété. Donc la banque achète le bien, vous le loue, et de là donc se déroule le processus d'achat. But the bank on paper is purchasing the property.
Yes, so it's governed by the Sharia law. All the paper are Sharia compliant, and the mortgage itself is Sharia compliant. So on paper, the bank has purchased a property on your behalf. We've leased the property to you for 25 years. You will pay the rent for 25 years. And at the end of it, you promise to buy this property from us for a mere 100 dirhams or 10 dirhams or so.
Okay. And what about if I cannot, if there is if I'm late on payment, is there any sort of fees that are involved?
Yes, so there is. If anybody misses out on a payment, right? Now, in a conventional, they charge 2% on whatever amount you've missed for the number of days. Whereas in an Islamic mortgage, there is a flat fixed fee or a fine which is imposed on you. So it's, let's say, 200 dirhams, for example.
Okay.
So this month you missed your payment, whether you missed it by 1 day or by 30 days, I'll charge you the 200 dirhams. And then the bank takes that 200 dirhams and gives it to charity. That's as per their Sharia. They have to follow that process. So I tell sometimes my customers, you feel like doing charity? Miss an installment.
That's a good one. At least you sleep happy.
Yeah.
Donc, je lui ai demandé, en cas de retard de paiement, comment opéraient les banques islamiques. Est-ce qu'il y avait donc des pénalités de retard, etc. Il m'a expliqué que les banques classiques, donc, elles chargent en moyenne un taux de 2%. For example, the traditional bank, the 2% rate that you mentioned, can be increased in terms of like...
No, it's 2%, pre-agreed.
OK. Yeah. Donc, les banques classiques, en moyenne, c'est 2% du montant que vous deviez payer en cas de retard. C'est ça qui va vous être imputé. Et si on passe par une banque islamique, c'est un montant qui est prédéfini. Il m'a donné l'exemple de 200 dirhams. Qu'on soit en retard de 3 jours ou de 2 mois, ou de 1 mois, c'est l'exemple qu'il a pris, ça sera 200 dirhams de pénalité, quoi qu'il arrive. Et à savoir que c'est cet argent, la pénalité que vous payez, va à une charité. Et donné à une charité, c'est non gardé au sein même de la banque. So financially speaking, it doesn't change anything. Like there is no better deal going through an Islamic banking. It's purely ethical.
No, it's purely ethical. The product is designed with Sharia laws in mind. But when you do the numbers, if I took, let's say, for example, 1 million dirham in conventional, and I kept the mortgage for 25 years, I'm supposed to pay, example, 1.5 million back to the bank. If I do it through the Islamic way, it's still the same. I borrowed 1 million, I will pay 1.5 million back to the bank. With profit, I have to pay to the bank, right? But it's all Sharia-based proper.
OK. Donc, il m'a réaffirmé que en termes de chiffres, il n'y avait vraiment aucune différence. Dans les montants qu'on payait, c'est vraiment une histoire d'éthique et rien d'autre. And what about if, let's say, I'm really struggling to pay for the, 6 months up to a year? How it works? Like the bank sees the not really sees because it's already theirs, but how it works?
So when you see the title deed of the property, right? The title deed will still say as you are the owner and it's mortgaged to so-and-so bank. But the bank agreements are all Sharia-based, right? There is a promise to purchase, there's a promise to lease, there's a promise to take care of the property, there is a promise to pay the installments, all of that. Yes, the bank has right onto the property if a person does not pay their installments. However, the banks here, they know that the process of taking a property, putting into auction, recovering money is very difficult and lengthy. It's also money consuming. Financially also it's expensive. So banks try to give more and more chances to the customer. Yes, in 17 years, I've had situations like that for my customers. So I'll give you an example. One customer said, I lost my job. Okay, next 3 months, don't pay installment. Next 3 months, he comes back, I still haven't found a job. No problem. Another 3 months, pay interest only. Okay, so he came back after that and like, thank you, I now found a job. I want to continue. All right, continue as normal. Whatever you missed, you pay in the end, but we will cover it up. So banks try to give options of ways how we can work it out. It's not like the banks are really happy, oh, customer has defaulted, I'm going to sell this property and make more money out of this. That's not the situation here.
Okay, but everything you said, I will then translate, but everything you said is like pre-approved on the contract, or it's just a matter of like they based every decision on the situation itself?
No, it's more situation based, but that's how the general concept of somebody defaulting works for pretty much all the banks here.
Ah, ok.
Right? Yeah.
Ok, donc là, je lui ai demandé quel est le process. On a pris un scénario catastrophe, j'arrive plus à payer 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mois, 8 mois. Est-ce que la banque reprend la propriété? Est-ce que je perds tout l'argent que j'ai mis auparavant, etc. Il m'a expliqué qu'ici, le processus, quand quelqu'un ne paye pas, et le fait que la banque reprenne la propriété et aille la vendre aux enchères, par exemple, pour recouvrir le montant, etc., est très compliqué, long, et ça leur coûte de l'argent. Donc, de manière générale, ils sont très flexibles et ils font en sorte de donner plusieurs chances à l'acheteur. Il m'a donné l'exemple d'un de ses clients qui était en retard, qui a perdu son travail. Pendant 3 mois, il n'a pas pu payer. Les 3 mois qui ont suivi, il n'avait toujours pas retrouvé de travail, il n'a pas pu payer. Enfin, donc monsieur Samir lui a conseillé de payer que les pénalités et de ne pas payer les mois en entier. Une fois qu'il a retrouvé un travail, tous les mois de retard qu'il a eu, ils lui ont été mis à la fin donc de son crédit islamique. Donc voilà, les banques de manière générale sont très flexibles et n'interviennent pas immédiatement dès qu'il y a 6-7 mois de retard pour aller, on récupère la propriété, on la revend, etc. All right, so I was explaining how flexible they are.
Yes,
And,
banks over here are very flexible. They don't work with the intention of taking over a property. They work with the intention of how can the customer somehow get back to his feet and start making full payments.
Donc leur but, c'est vraiment que vous alliez au bout du processus d'achat et ils ne font pas de l'argent en sautant sur l'occasion de récupérer la propriété, d'essayer de la revendre à gauche, à droite. Apparemment, c'est plus un casse-tête pour eux que de rester sur les rails avec le client. I wanted to ask you a question regarding the... let me remember the question, actually. Wow. Give me a second.
No,
give me a second. It will come back to me. So yeah, can I transfer okay, first of all, can we mortgage a property at like let's say a couple wants to?
Yes.
We can have 2 names on the title deed and everything.
You can, as long as you're related, right? So husband and wife, yes. Blood related, like 2 brothers, 2 sisters, father and son, mother and son, yes. But if they're 2 partners, just like in a company, business or so, or 2 non-related parties, then there is no option.
Ok, donc là, je viens de lui demander si on pouvait faire un financement à plusieurs. Il m'a dit que si on était liés par des liens familiaux, mariés et femmes, frères et sœurs, etc., il est possible de le faire. And I'm trying to understand really how the contract is being built. Everything is basically, there is no hidden surprise, nothing, like everything, you know everything. Let's say you mentioned the dollar when the camera were off, you and I, we had a quick chat. What about if the central bank of UAE, like the rate changes? It's for the Islamic still, like it's fixed amount.
Yes. So we do have a contract in place. So the final offer letters that the bank prepare has everything mentioned. What is the loan amount, which property, what are the terms and conditions for the interest, what are the penalty charges if you don't pay, what happens during after the fixed period of the interest rate. So all of this is properly mentioned. You read it, understand it, and then sign it. Now, once you've signed a contract, right, the contract is the binding document between you and the bank. Now, no matter whatever happens in future, even if things go wrong somewhere, right, and I'll give you an example later on, the central bank will support the customer saying that the customer was given this contract, he signed it, you sign it, honor it. go as per the contract only. And I'll explain the example.
Je lui ai posé la question, quel était le cas où, par exemple, on s'engage sur un financement et plusieurs années plus tard, à savoir que, pour ceux qui ne le savent pas, le dirham est indexé comme toutes les monnaies du Golfe pratiquement, si je ne dis pas de bêtises, sont indexées par rapport au dollar. Donc si, je ne sais pas, moi, il y a des fluctuations, ça bouge, les taux d'intérêt de la Banque centrale des Émirats sont amenés à changer. Comment ça m'affecte moi qui ai fait un financement il y a 2 ans, par exemple? Et il me dit que tout est mis sur contrat et peu importe ce qui se passe, si quand même la banque veut se retourner contre vous, encore une fois, on prend un scénario catastrophe, la Banque centrale des Émirats va prendre le contrat comme, entre guillemets, comme pièce à conviction et c'est ça qui va faire foi. Peu importe ce qui se passe dans l'environnement macroéconomique, ce que vous voulez, on va toujours revenir au contrat et c'est le contrat qui va faire foi, qui va prédominer. La banque va devoir rester sur les points sur lesquels elle s'était engagée.
Right.
Yeah.
So the example that I was going to give is, in the past there have been bank mergers or acquisitions, right? Now banks like Bank A, I'll just not name a bank, but Bank A has been taken over by Bank B. Okay. My contract was with Bank A, and the Bank B's product, interest rates, everything is totally different, right? And if they try to change my contract and say, sorry, you are at so-and-so rate, now our interest rate's a little bit higher and that's what you have to pay, I will go back and complain to the central bank. The central bank will say, you've taken over this customer who already has a contract and you have to honor that contract only. It's not the customer's fault that the bank has merged with another one.
Sorry, say it again.
So whatever the contract was with Bank A, I have the Bank B, even after taking over, has to honor that contract with Bank A and charge me interest and everything as per that contract only.
Who would be the
central
referee?
bank? Central bank.
Yeah.
Central bank says no. Whatever's signed, honor it. Yes?
Okay.
Be a man of your word is the way they say, right?
Okay.
So they tell the bank, be a man of your word, honor the contract that was signed by the customer. No matter what happens, whatever is signed has to be honored.
Okay. That's a very good example, actually. Il m'a donné l'exemple de ce qu'on appelle fusion-acquisition. En gros, je vais vous donner des exemples de banques françaises. C'est comme si vous contractez un financement avec la BNP. L'année d'après ou plusieurs mois après, la BNP se fait racheter par Crédit Agricole. Vous, votre contrat, il était avec la BNP. La BNP n'existe plus vu qu'elle a été rachetée par le Crédit Agricole. Quoi qu'il arrive, si on essaye Et à savoir, pardon, que les crédits agricoles, les taux proposés sont complètement différents de la BNP. Donc vous pouvez vous retrouver lésé, mais aux Émirats, c'est impossible parce que la Banque centrale va un peu agir comme un arbitre. C'est-à-dire que peu importe ce qui se passe, quand même la première banque a été rachetée par la seconde, le contrat, encore une fois, on revient au contrat. C'est le contrat initial qui fait foi et vous serez protégé. Okay, I was explaining them the whole thing with the bank. I name banks, but in France, so to...
That's all right.
Okay. And according to... I would like to know, this is more personal question, how you're, according to the profile, how you do your orientation, how you deal with, how can I phrase that? For example, according to my profile, you take me to, let's say, we're not going to name bank, we take me to a certain bank in Abu Dhabi,
right.
And my friend who has a different profile, you take him to a bank in Dubai.
Yes.
Well, how you decide, basically?
Okay, so I first ask the customer, what is the price of the property that you want to buy at, where it is it for your own use or is it an investment, right? So those are basically property-related questions. And then I ask them, what is your profile like, right? Are you salaried? Are you self-employed? You're a resident, non-resident? So based on that, I will first narrow down on the top 5 banks where your profile can fit, right? Now, for example, there are certain banks where the minimum salary requirement is 15,000 dirhams. And there are 1 or 2 banks where make an exception with 12,000 and 10,000. So somebody whose salary is, let's say, 12,500 will not fit with most of the 15,000 banks. Right? I know they will only fit with 1 or 2 banks. But between those 2 banks, who has a better product? Who is giving the lowest interest rate? Where can we get discounts on the processing fee, etc.? So then try to narrow down amongst the top 5 or 6 banks which fits your profile and your requirement. Who's the cheapest? Where can we save you money? And then we say, okay, in that case, this particular offer works the best for you.
Okay, so So basically, that's the whole point of hiring a
Yes.
mortgage advisor.
True,
Because he
true.
has like a 360 view of the entire market, and he knows.
Absolutely.
And let's get technical, like
Mm-hmm.
how much you charge, so we can tell the viewers if they need anything, to get them in touch with you.
Sure, sure. So we do have a fee that we charge our customers, and we add a lot of value in that. Yes. If I were to just name a few as advantages of using us, so there are almost 17 banks. If you look at all the bank products from all these banks, there'll be almost 1,900 products to choose from.
Wow.
But amongst these, which is the best one? Which is the best in terms of interest rate starting now? Because later on, after a few years, the fixed rate is going to end and it's going to be a variable rate. Then amongst all these banks, who has the lowest profit margin or the variable rate? Plus, who has the lowest insurance cost? Who has the lowest processing fee, etc. So my preference from month to month keeps changing, as this is the bank's best bank for you today, and tomorrow best bank for you, the other
It's
one.
not like
Yes. So now, not only do I help identify which is the best bank for you, I try to save you money as well as to where can we save money in terms of the interest and processing fee, etc. Right? I also help manage situations wherein I have to deal with the agent, with the seller, right? So now, and many of these non-resident customers, they're not even here, right? So dealing with all these parties, I take all that responsibility of all the communications, making sure that your requirement and your plan of buying the property has been taken care of, right? Plus, gives you the peace of mind that, okay, there is somebody who is knowledgeable taking me through the process. So I do charge a fee. So for non-resident, I charge a fee of 10,000. We can always work some discount if it's
fair enough, to be honest.
right. And I don't charge anything in advance. So it's a purely success-based fee. So it's split in two parts. You pay the first 5,000 only when I give you a pre-approval. If I don't give you a pre-approval for any reason, don't pay me anything.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
And once the mortgage is all set, the property is transferred in your name, you pay the other half of it. Right?
Okay.
So the fee structure is also in favor of the customer, wherein, let's say I did a pre-approval for you, you pay me the first half of the fee, and in 2 months the pre-approval expired, you were not able to finalize your property. No problem. My contract is open for the next 12 months. Come back to me anytime within the next 12 months. I'll do a second pre-approval, third pre-approval. I'm not going to charge you anything extra.
That's very fair, especially knowing Dubai. Actually, that's very fair. I will translate a bit.
Sure.
Je lui ai demandé donc quel était l'intérêt pour un client de passer par une personne comme lui qui est donc un conseiller en financement, si on traduit littéralement. Principalement, c'est qu'il n'a pas d'attache avec une seule et même banque. Il va baser son jugement sur le profil de chacun, notamment le salaire, est-ce qu'on est employé ou est-ce qu'on est entrepreneur, etc. Il sait pertinemment qu'il y a certaines banques, après ça c'est plus pour les gens qui sont résidents, il sait pertinemment qu'il y a certaines banques qui ne prennent des dossiers qu'à un certain montant minimum de salaire et d'autres non. Donc il m'a donné l'exemple, si quelqu'un a 15 000 dirhams de salaire, si quelqu'un a 12 000 dirhams de salaire et il sait qu'il y a 5 banques qui ne prennent que des clients pour des financements qui ont 15 000 minimum, il sait pertinemment que ça sera une perte de temps. Donc il vous oriente, il connaît tous les rouages, tous les systèmes, et il vous oriente. Et c'est un gros gain de temps. Il connaît le marché, il connaît tous les produits. Il m'a donné l'exemple que si vous souhaitez, à titre personnel, le faire vous-même et aller de banque en banque, you told me there is more than 1,000
900 products to choose from.
Il m'a dit il y a plus de 1900 packages de financement sur toutes les banques aux Émirats. Donc, je vous laisse imaginer le casse-tête que ça peut être de le faire un par un, de choisir, etc. Encore plus, si vous rajoutez à ça la barrière de la langue. Et lui, à titre personnel, sa société charge 10 000 dirhams pour ce type de service. Vous donnez 5 000 dirhams. Vous ne payez que si le financement est accordé. Vous payez en 2 fois, 5 000 dirhams une fois que c'est pre-approved. Donc, une fois que c'est pre-approved. Et si le financement va au bout et la propriété que vous achetez est transférée à votre nom, là, vous pouvez donc vous lui payer les 5 000 restants. In terms of let's say, again, I'm overseas, I want to do the entire process from abroad. Do I have to do a POA or?
No, you don't have to do a POA. You can start off or kick off the process, everything online. Send the documents by email. I send you the forms, do signatures, send it back to me. So majority of the process is done without your presence here. And that's where we manage all of this. Your presence is required once, so you have to sign the agreements with the bank and open a bank account as well. So these banks, when they were giving you a mortgage, they'll open an account for you. And there it has to be your signature only. So that's where your presence is required.
That's a pre-approval time, or
no, at the
after?
end, towards the end, almost final offer letters when the agreements are to be signed to, execute the loan.
Okay.
Right? So towards the end of the process is where we need you for approximately a week. Final offer letters will be signed, account will be opened, transfer will be done. So your presence is that much only. Prior to that, the rest of the previous all process, online.
So, by the way, the mortgage is transferred to an account, or it can be transferred directly to the purchaser, like to the owner of the property you're buying.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if you're the purchaser and I will open an account for you as part of the mortgage process, the money comes into your account. From that account, we prepare a manager's check, like a demand draft, right? So you never get access to that money. It's a blocked account, right? Once the transfer is done and everything, then the account is unblocked and you can use it for your own purpose, personal use as well, along with paying the installments.
Okay. Say it again.
Yes. So.
Okay. I got the manager check part.
Yes. So.
Because sorry to cut you off, but I always thought like the mortgage money can be used only for the property.
It's only for the property.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I cannot.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. So money comes into the account. From that account, it's paid to the seller. They prepare a manager's check, right?
I cannot get a mortgage and go party in Las Vegas with
Nah,
the money.
Possible. That is also possible, right? How? I will explain to that. But let's cover the part where, how the accounting works.
Ok. Donc là, je lui ai demandé, poser deux questions très, très importantes. Première question, est-ce que le process pouvait être entamé alors que le client est à l'étranger? Il m'a dit, tout peut se faire en ligne. Tout peut se faire en ligne jusqu'au prix approval. Tout se fait en ligne en quelques minutes. Vous remplissez, etc. Ensuite, une fois que la banque a donné son final approval, c'est-à-dire que c'est bon, vous a accordé le crédit, le financement, là, votre présence est primordiale pour une semaine. Parce qu'il va falloir signer, parce que la banque en question va vous ouvrir un compte pour vous transférer les fonds. On ne va pas vous transférer les fonds sur votre compte perso, etc. De toute façon, vous n'avez pas de compte perso si vous n'êtes pas résident, quoi qu'il arrive. Donc, l'argent est donc envoyé sur le fameux compte qu'ils vous ont ouvert. Ensuite, vous allez avoir un chèque de banque qui correspondra au montant des fonds transférés. Ce même chèque de banque, vous pourrez l'utiliser pour acheter votre propriété et ensuite faire le transfert de nom, etc.
So, the advantage of going to the mortgage, another one for non-resident is, if, for example, a non-resident came to Dubai and said, I want to open an account, right? Open a saving account. I cannot have a current account, no checkbook, right? But the debit and online, everything is there. It's very difficult to open an account.
I know.
However, do a mortgage and by default, they will open an account for you. So once the seller has been paid, then your account is used to pay the installments, and that same account you can use for anything. Deposit the rent, from rent you want to transfer, you want to make some payments, you can use that debit card for your shopping, anything. It's a normal account for you now, right? So non-residents get an account by default when taking a mortgage, right? So that's an advantage for them that now they have
a big one, because I had a lot of customers actually, they really struggle opening an account. Another question, I'm sure like the viewers will ask me that question for sure. Let's say, okay, the property has been purchased and I want to pay my installment, my mortgage installment. It's definitely okay to deposit cash at the ATM.
Yes. So up to what, as per our understanding is, up to 40,000 dirhams if you want to deposit cash, it's absolutely fine. 40,000 and above, the bank can question you depending on what kind of account it is and what's the money being used for. Like, for example, somebody deposited 50, 60, 80,000 cash and said that, oh, my tenant gave me this as rent, right? Here is a tenancy contract. So we can trace the funds. We know where it's coming from.
Okay.
Right? So it depends on how much the amount is, but up to a certain amount, no question. They're okay with that.
Ok. Donc là, je lui ai posé la question. Enfin, c'est plutôt lui qui m'a dit, en tant que non-résident, c'est en plus un avantage supplémentaire si vous faites un financement, c'est que quoi qu'il arrive, le compte qui va être créé pour justement recevoir les fonds du crédit, et ce compte est à vous, est en votre nom, donc vous allez pouvoir l'utiliser quand bien même vous n'avez pas encore la qualité de résident. C'est-à-dire, c'est également un compte sur lequel vous allez pouvoir déposer de l'espèce, jusqu'à 10 000 euros sans aucune question. Après, il m'a dit qu'au-dessus de 10 000 euros, la banque pouvait éventuellement poser certaines questions, mais à partir du moment où vous avez une preuve, si vous déposez par exemple, il m'a donné l'exemple de 80 000 dirhams de dépôt en cash sur la machine, c'est l'équivalent d'à peu près 20 000 euros. Si vous avez la preuve que c'est le loyer de l'année que vous avez encaissé, que c'est votre locataire qui vous a payé ça, aucun problème, tout suit son cours de manière classique. Donc, je vous le redis, une fois que vos fonds sont transférés, votre compte, vous le gardez, il est à vous, vous pouvez déposer de l'espèce dessus, il n'y a aucun problème.
Yeah. Right. Parting about the Las Vegas thing.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Interestingly. Now, some customers, yes, non-residents, they come here with the funds, right? And they buy the property in cash because there was a really good deal going on.
Okay.
Right? It was like a distressed deal, brilliant price, everything. I bought it in cash. But my idea was to maybe not buy one property, let's say, for example, 2 million. My idea was to buy more than that, but the deal was so good, I bought it, right? There is a way where we can give you cash against that property as well, right? So that same property which you already bought, right? The process remains the same in terms of paperwork where we get to the pre-approval, valuation, final offers, account opening, everything. But this time, we'll take that property which is cash, and we'll put the bank's name saying that it's mortgaged to so-and-so. Now the bank has that property as security. We'll give you 60% of the same property price as cash into your account. Now, up to a certain amount, that cash can be basically used however you like. But up to a certain amount and above, then the bank will say, we will control this money. You have to use this money to buy another property only, right? But anyway, most of the investors have that intention. Right? That, okay, fine, you give me the 60% of this 2 million, and I will use that to buy another property. So here's the seller's details. I'm buying whichever particular property it is, make the payment to them, right? So the bank, on a property which is purchased in cash, we will mortgage that and give you up to 60% to buy another property. But up to a certain amount, if you want, we'll just put the money into your account as cash. You can use that however you like. Maybe you want to do some renovation on the property, buy some furniture, set up your own company, or maybe throw a party and invite both of us.
It's a good one. But okay, just again to clarify, you told me the 60% of the
property
value of the existing one, not the one that is planning on being purchased.
Yeah, the existing one. We will pledge that property with the bank and give you up to 60% against that property, which you can use towards buying another one.
Okay, great. Donc là, il m'expliquait le système de refinancement, comment ça fonctionne. On va dire, vous arrivez à Dubaï, il s'avère que vous tombez sur l'affaire du siècle, comme on dit, un coup de fusil, et il faut acheter cash. Vous avez les fonds disponibles, donc vous achetez cash rapidement. Voilà, vous achetez une propriété, je ne sais pas moi, à 150 000 euros. Mais votre idée était d'acheter plus de propriétés, et là, vous vous retrouvez un petit peu, pour le coup, vous êtes juste. Vous êtes même un petit peu au pied du mur. La banque peut vous refinancer à hauteur de 60%, donc peut vous donner 60% de la valeur du bien que vous avez déjà acheté. Et avec cet argent-là, vous pouvez financer une autre propriété. Voilà, c'est un petit peu comme ça que ça fonctionne. So Samir, there is so many things to say.
Yes.
We're reaching the end, but I know for sure we will meet again. You will give us more details. But before I leave you, I want to ask you one more question because I heard that question many times. I know the answer, but the viewers, they don't.
Yeah.
Let's say I have a property mortgage.
Okay.
Let's say I have 20 years mortgage. I'm only like 3-4 years through. I cannot complete it, or I have like something back home. I need to resell that property.
Okay.
A real estate agency in Dubai, they find me a potential customer.
Right.
How the deal works? I get the money in the same account I have the mortgage on, etc.
Okay. So if you have a property which is already mortgaged with the bank and you want to sell that property, it's a very common transaction happening pretty much every day. So the new buyer, if it's a cash buyer, will first come and settle your mortgage with the condition telling the bank that give me the documents so that we will complete the transfer, and the balance money I'll give you on the day of transfer in your name, right? So you as the owner of the property, first I will settle your mortgage, and then on the day of transfer, give you the balance. Now, if the buyer of this property is also taking a mortgage, then his bank will first come and clear your bank, and then on the day of transfer, you'll get the balance. But yeah, that's a normal process. Yeah, it's happening everywhere.
Donc là, je lui expliquais, pour un client, pour quelqu'un qui a acheté une propriété via un financement, encore une fois que ce soit islamique ou via une banque classique, et il s'avère qu'il prend un crédit de 20 ans, au bout de 3-4 ans, il souhaite revendre la propriété pour X ou Y raison, quelle va être la démarche? Il m'a expliqué que si une agence, par exemple à Dubaï, vous trouve nous en l'occurrence, vous trouve un acheteur, cet acheteur achète cash, donc c'est un cash buyer, va devoir d'abord couvrir votre crédit, avec bien évidemment des documents qui lui le sécurisent. Une fois que votre crédit est fermé et couvert, ensuite vous allez donc chez le notaire, et là la balance qui reste à couvrir pour le montant de la propriété va être déboursée. In terms of balance, the balance then is going to be transferred to the same account?
We'll give you a manager's check. You can deposit it to that same account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Donc là, je voulais juste une petite précision. Mais donc, encore une fois, on revient sur le process. L'acheteur couvre d'abord votre crédit. Ensuite, vous allez devant le notaire. On voit quel montant il reste. En gros, quel montant va vous revenir à vous directement. Vous récupérez un chèque de banque que vous pourrez déposer sur le même compte où vous avez le crédit. Ensuite, retirer vos sous, etc. Ça, c'est dans le cas où un client achète cash. Si un client lui-même passe par un crédit, ça va être le même processus, mais de banque à banque. It's the exact same process if there is a mortgage buyer, but bank to bank.
Bank to bank first, and the balance into your account.
C'est le même process, sauf que c'est de banque à banque. Et pareil, une fois devant le notaire, vous récupérez ce qu'on appelle la balance. Mr. Samir, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me as well. And brilliant questions, actually. They're really nice.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I would like to emphasize on the fact that you came super short notice. I think I let you know like a couple hours before.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the knowledge.
Thank you.
For the good energy, the good jokes as well. So thank you for coming, and we will meet again very soon. Thank you,
Pleasure.
Mr. Samir. See you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.